well, basically lied and said we were doing a 1 out of 1 Minelab video, but backed by popular demand from Mark, he wanted to do another interview, so I could really put him through his paces. So we're back, we're at Detectable 2022, and we're going to hit off with some more questions, a bit more in depth. These are some questions that are coming over social media and just kind of new ones we've dreamed up as more and more features have been announced. So, Mark, thanks for joining me again.
Great to be here, Scott.
So I've got some easy ones first.
Yeah.
How many models / packages will be available?
So there's going to be one model and pack out. As you see it here, it's going to be the Manticore, and it comes with an 11-inch double D coil and some wireless headphones. That's the beast.
Cool. Is there, well, will there be, or are there any other coils available?
There will be some other coils as accessories that you can purchase separately. So it'll be a 6x8-inch elliptical coil, which is a small one, and then a bigger 15x12.
Cool, but they're not coming out straight away?
They'll be pretty much available at launch, yeah.
Cool. One thing is price. Do you know the official price?
The official price in the UK is £1,799, including VAT.
Brilliant. So roughly, because obviously we're comparing this quite a bit to the Equinox and the CTX, in terms of depth, what is the improvement? Where does it lie?
So to answer that question, I'll start with, it's got more battery capacity.
Yep.
And we chose to convert that into more depth.
Right.
So it's 50% more power. That's 50% more power, that's not 50% more depth. So when the magnetic field comes out of the coil, it drops off pretty quickly. So it actually, probably an easy way to answer it is for a target that you might be hitting at 30 centimeters, you might get about 2 to 3 centimeters more depth, typically.
Okay.
However, sometimes with like a small target, like in my tour of Europe, I've seen lots of small gold jewelry and chains like that, and we're seeing like quite a bit more depth on those. So it really depends on the field, the size of the target, the conditions, but suffice to say we're putting more power into the ground, so it's going to be beating the Equinox. So
you're beating the Equinox and probably matching something like CTX?
Yeah, for CTX, which is quite good at low frequency targets or big targets that are high conductors, this will be a match to CTX.
It's great to get my hands on it, it actually feels really good, I like it. Can you briefly explain the kind of XY, the 2D ID mapping for us?
So what we've done is we've taken some technology from the CTX 3030, which is the 2D ID visualization map. So it's a picture that you have on the detector, and as you go over a target, it actually draws where that target is. The horizontal axis is how conductive it is, and the vertical axis how ferrous it is. So if you get a target that appears very small dot along that conductivity line in the middle, you know it's a coin or a ring. And as it moves away, it becomes more and more ferrous. So when you go over a ferrous object, it appears right at the top or the bottom.
Okay. Am I right in saying that it's a slightly different ID, a slightly different visualization to the CTX? It
is, yeah. We've tried to really make it as digestible as possible for users, so you can just quickly look down there and say, okay, that's got some ferrous stuff going on, or no, that's a perfect coin, I'm just going to dig that straight away. So we've tried to make it as easy to use as possible.
Cool, brilliant. Could you explain for us polyphonic audio?
So polyphonic audio is the ability to play more than one tone simultaneously. So a lot of the audio has been rebuilt in this detector, and it really helps you hear like a ferrous and a non-ferrous tone at the same time. Right. So yeah, next level.
So it's literally two sounds at the same time, and one's telling you one thing and one's telling the other?
Yeah, rather than it chopping and changing. So.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's good. So do you find did that take a bit of getting used to as a detectorist? Or is it?
Not really, it's just sort of, why wasn't it always like that?
Oh, I like it, yeah. I'm curious, obviously we've got a new machine out and it's high end. Why did Minelab never go wireless with their coils or never choose that option?
So we've looked at it. It really comes down to power. If you're going to have all that battery down in the coil, for a start you can end up with a very heavy detector down at the end of the coil.
Right.
And there are also issues when you have lots of metal in the coil and you're going over ground. That metal can actually become part of the detection, so it's not as optimal in that sense either. So
it's more about where the components would need to be placed and the interference rather than the interference from coil to a receiver.
Yeah, there's no problem in getting the wireless signal up, that's quite easy, but getting the battery or the power down there so that you can get that depth is a challenge.
And the balance of the machine, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it would get very nose heavy if you had the battery down there of that capacity.
So you would never look at that, I don't think?
Oh, No, not at the moment. We've done all the trade-off analysis on this machine, and we really like what we've come up with.
Cool. So you've been out on the Minelab Manticore Mayhem tour.
Yeah.
I think I've got that right. So you've been using this quite a while now.
Yeah.
Have you found any presets? Because it's got quite a few more presets than the Equinox, hasn't it?
It does.
Have you found any that you really like in particular?
I've actually been using the general one a lot, and the reason for that is we want the general one, which is the main default from factory reset. We want that to just work for everyone. So
Yeah.
I've been giving that a good thrashing, and it's working really well. I'd say 80 or 90% of the time, that's what I've been using.
Yeah.
And then occasionally, if I'm really looking for very small hammered or something like that, I've been switching to the low conductor mode.
What does that change then, the low conductor mode?
So it's a different multi-IQ plus. So the frequencies that are going on with the simultaneous multi-frequency are a little bit different and just sort of optimized to find those tiny targets a bit better.
Cool. Would that give, it still would plot the visualization in the same way?
Oh yeah. So all of the user interface is the same, and the way that you can block out iron. And for each mode, those settings are remembered. So if you switch back to general, it's as if you never left it.
Oh, that's cool.
Quite straightforward.
So it's easy to switch out of one preset and
Yeah.
come straight back. So your tour, have you enjoyed it so far, and what's the response been from Europe? Because you've been a lot of places, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks since we launched it. Been all through Europe, so Germany, Netherlands, Czech Republic, and then finishing in France, and then back here again. Yeah, it's been fantastic to visit all the different types of customers and see the machine used in different areas and how they want to operate it. So it's been very successful, had a lot of buzz coming out of it, a lot of social media activity. So yeah, it's been fantastic, and I have to say it's one of the best machines I've ever toured at this stage of launching a product. I haven't had to say it's a prototype once, so it's been flawless.
Actually, I really like that you did say to me before that you don't see this as a prototype, this is it.
Very mature, yeah. We're still tuning some of the default settings between now and getting it to customers. We've still got field testers giving us a few suggestions, but
minimal.
But yeah, it's very minimal.
So do you think it's fair to say actually this is a bit of a hybrid between the CTX and the Equinox?
I think that's a very fair comment.
Okay.
We've taken everything from Equinox, redeveloped it, made it to the next level, and we've also borrowed the 2D ID system from CTX. So yeah, it is a hybrid in that sense.
Is there anything, because you've had to bring those two machines together, is there anything that you would say in the CTX is still superior, or in the Equinox it's still superior?
I would say for the CTX, definitely the GPS aspect and being able to map your waypoints and where you're going. We don't have that in this product.
Yeah.
And from an Equinox point of view, I would say there's nothing that this isn't better.
I suppose maybe for new detectorists, you might not go straight from a Manticore or...
No, well, yeah, I mean, it's a more expensive machine, but it's also more powerful and more fully featured. It's lighter weight. You're going to be able to make better decisions with the Manticore compared to an Equinox.
Yeah.
But Equinox is still great. I mean, it's been a game changer since we launched that 5 or 6 years ago.
Yep, world's best seller.
Yeah, it's pretty cool for me to see I helped launch that product back then, and now I'm here again launching this one. So it's next level.
Well, that leads me on to the last question. When?
Look, we're aiming to get out as soon as possible. We've sort of got our eye on November, but we'll see how we go.
That'd be amazing, thank you. Well, thank you so much. It's
My
been
pleasure.
a pleasure. I know it's been a pleasure for you.
Yeah.
Pleasure for me. No, it's great. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Scott.
Thank you.
Bye.